I'm pretty sure most of you watching this video right now have either seen or heard of the movie Boyz in the Hood, which came out in 1991 starring Ice Cube and Cuba Gooding Jr. A lot of memorable characters from that movie. One of them being Lloyd Avery II. We're going to get into his story in a future video. But one of the characters that people will remember from that movie was the character Dookie, who was Ice Cube's friend in the movie, played by, of course, one Derek Gilbert. So Derek was born on November 25th, 1971. Now, his life did not get to reach the pinnacle of what you can think that an actor in Hollywood who is working regularly can get to. So other than Boyz in the Hood, Dietrich would also appear in the movie Poetic Justice, starring Tupac Shakur and Janet Jackson. He was also in the movie Higher Learning, but he would not live to see that movie's release. So on November 19th, 1994, Dietrich was with his friend Ignacio Hernandez, and they were out in Mira Loma, which is about 50 miles east of where we're currently located right now. So on that night, they were attending a drag race. Streets out in Mira Loma, there's a lot of streets that are just long and just straight away. It's good for kids if they want to do illegal drag racing, which is what they were doing. So on that night, Dietrich is with his friend Ignacio, and Dietrich's girlfriend, her name is Jenny Hyon. I apologize if I mispronounced that last name. So they're at the races, and Ignacio is racing somebody, right? And as they're racing, a car pulls out in front of Ignacio. Now, I don't know if they meant to do it or it was an accident. I don't know. I wasn't there. But what I do know is that Ignacio took offense to that, and they get out and they started jawing back and forth at each other and fighting. Quickly, the fight is broken up. All right, listen, it was an accident, or my bad, or F you, whatever words were exchanged. Everything is done and everybody's going their own separate ways. So not very far from that scene of the drag race is a pizza place where a lot of kids in that area would go meet at after racing or cruising or whatever. Now, when they meet up at the pizza place, some members of that entourage's vehicle that had cut Ignacio off, they were at the pizza place as well. And most of them were gang members. They were members of a gang called Acro Boys Crazy. Acro is affiliated with a Filipino sorority back in the Philippines. It's basically a sect of a sorority that kind of immigrated to the United States. They turned into different factions of gangs. So you'll have different Filipino gangs claiming Bloods, claiming Crips, just claiming neither. So that particular set, they were a part of the Bloods. You also have some Acros that will also claim Pyru. So they see each other and they start jawing back and forth. Now, Dietrich, mind you, he has a role in Boyz in the Hood. He has a role in Poetic Justice. Now, he's not a big time actor yet, but he's going to get there. But Dietrich grew up in the hood, so to speak, and he claims membership with a Crip set, the Rolling 90s. Now, he's not actively going out there gang banging. He ain't doing none of that. But, you know, hey, you're gonna tell everybody where you're from. And they start jawing back and forth with each other. And for some unknown reason, Dietrich, he could have left, right? He could have took him, his friend, his girlfriend. He could have just said, hey, let's get out of here. But he chose not to do that. No, he chose to go up to them. And this is according to what the witnesses at the scene said, that Dietrich was antagonizing them, telling them where he was from, doing all this, that, and the third. Now, according to one of the witnesses in the case, reportedly, and this is just reportedly, that Diedrich had like pretended like to reach for his waistband that he had a gun. So as soon as they see him do that, or maybe he's just provoking them too much, all of a sudden the members of the ABCs start rushing Diedrich, and then they start jumping him and pounding him out. And Ignacio, being a loyal friend that he is, he jumps on Diedrich to shield the blows from them jumping him. Well, in that process, somebody pulls out a gun and shoots Ignacio twice, once in the back of the head and once in the back, virtually killing him instantly. And after that, they would go on to shoot Diedrich once in the back of the head. And as the shooter has already shot two people, Jenny, Diedrich's girlfriend, jumps on his back and starts beating on it and pounding on it. He turns around, shoots her once in the neck. She'll never walk ever again. Diedrich and Ignacio would be declared dead at the scene of the crime. Now, about a couple weeks later, the shooter was eventually found and arrested. His name, Sonny Inraka, a known member of the ABC Bloods gang. So originally, he says that, I didn't do it. I didn't shoot anybody. But of course, they put the screws to him, and then he readily admits it, but he's claiming self-defense. He's saying that Diedrich antagonized him. He thought that he had a gun. So when they rushed him, he was worried that he would pull out the gun and shoot them. So he pulls out his gun and shoots all three individuals. Well, 5 years later, in 1999, he would eventually be found guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. And he would be sentenced to die via lethal injection. This is the grave of Diedrich Gobert. Has that Volkswagen emblem on there. He had a Volkswagen Jetta that he loved. Yeah, this is a kind of a story that some of us can learn from. That this kid was in 2 big movies and was set to be in a 3rd, and it was a matter of time before he would have got an even bigger role. And even if he wasn't offered a bigger role, it seemed like he would always find some kind of work in Hollywood. But the allure of growing up around gangs might have, tested his manhood. And, I read these stories all the time of kids just having their manhood tested, whether you're in a gang or you're doing the road rage thing, and it costs many, many, many lives. So rest in peace to Diedrich Gobert. And just a small but important piece of the movie Boyz n the Hood. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. I'm hitting the road. I will see you on the next video. Guys, be safe out there, and listen, if you get into a fight, whatever, I know sometimes it's hard to walk away. If you're defending yourself, it's one thing, but to go and start something, hey, I'd rather go home and be with my lady. I don't have time to be playing with thugs and all this and that. You never know who's carrying a gun. You just don't. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.